Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense. I try to keep it down and nitty gritty under 10 minutes. And if it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very, very, very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, a lot of beta males. Most people who are born on 1979 all the way up, 81, 80s, 90s, you shouldn't be watching my videos because you're millennials and you're in your emotions. You don't know who I am. I'm the daddy that you never had. And the daddy you will probably never want to have, okay? Because your asses haven't been trained. That's most people. But if you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below. There's a method to my madness. The way I look is because of entertainment purposes and also marketing and also therapeutic techniques. But of course, I don't look for subscribers or likes because I know a lot of you people are like beta alpha busters and everything else like that, bitches and hoes, and hoes ain't shit, but suck my dick, whatever you wanted to say, okay, all right? Because I'm foul-mouthed, right? So if you're sensitive, you can't take a joke, there's a whole bunch of you motherfuckers who shouldn't be watching my videos. But anyway, I got a message, and my shit is under 10 minutes. So if you get sensitive and you start spewing some negative shit and you don't know shit about me, I'll wipe you out, okay? I snuff you out, okay, all right? Other than that, I'm your friendly neighborhood Schizologist, your friendly neighborhood good psychopath, which you'll never see on the internet. I'm the real McCoy, baby. Trust me on that, okay? But let's talk about a subject for today. Today's subject will be about, because I'm pretty sure I made it, I'm just going to talk about it. But in these days, people consider love an emotion, a platonic or affectionate emotion in which you're supposed to know if they are or not. Right? There's different types of love, okay? Of course, there's a bad love, there's a good love, and there's an in-between type of love. But if you really want to know if someone's either have true hardcore love for you in the bad way, medium way, or even in the good way, okay, you're going to have to test that shit out throughout the whole entire shebang, throughout the whole relationship. You're going to keep testing it. Because as soon as a person finds out that they don't love you, it's going to be later on, or in the middle section of the relationship. Okay? I don't deal with love in the way most people deal with love, because my type of love is a form of respect. Right? I don't do emotions because emotions is very unstable. It's a liability. You can have emotions. You can have, okay, this person might be cool with me, yada, yada, yada. But you should never trust no one. You always have a plan B, C, and D. You don't do all that emotions. Sex is an equal trade. If you want it at that moment and they keep rejecting you, you already know their level of love for you, right? So by testing a person out, at all times, like for example, sometimes you got to test the limit of a person to see how far and how angry they get, to see how far that love will go. So it may seem like a psychotic type of thing to do, but sometimes you got to go through that. There's people who have gotten stabbed 140 some times, right? Okay, listen to me now here, and still love that person to death and will sacrifice themselves. And the reason why they would do that, because I've talked to people who've done some really despicable stuff and things. I also talked to people who had despicable things done to them. Is the fact that they had that affinity towards them that they could not break. There are people who have fetishes out there who basically like to eat shit, and though it's not good for them, drink venom, even though it's not good for them, even smoke cigarettes, even though it's not good for them, and it will still be attached to these type of things that destroys their health. But to keep it real simple and sweet, because you know I keep my videos under 10 minutes and it's factual and it's common sense, you're going to have to test people out. And usually if you have your love in the area of just respect, that's the highest form of love. Because if my daughters, let me give you a great example here, had not listened to everything I said, okay, right? I would let them go astray, but they will have to pay. See, that rhymes. I will let them go astray, so they have to pay later on down the line. That, okay, you don't want to listen to daddy? This goes for women, men, and children. It doesn't matter who it is. Okay, you don't want to listen to me? And I even try to give you some documentation, some evidence, and how I feel. It's about me. And that's not got nothing to do with narcissism. Everything has something to do with insecurity. Everybody's insecure in some kind of way. But if you made yourself clear from the beginning, that gives you the advantage. You made yourself clear. Like if you told people, I will kill you, yada, yada, yada. You usually follow on your words. You're not going to tell people how you do it, but you just say it, right? But you're going to have to test the person out to see how far they can take it. This is why I don't hang with people too much. Human beings are a very childish-like race of people, most of them. And the only way I can find elite goons or people who are for me is if they went through the ringer or a regimen of testing, okay? You know, you got to go through the blood and fire. There's people out there who you just need to get rid of immediately, okay? Especially when you're trying to start a relationship with someone which you feel is a platonic because they're sexy and you like their sex. It doesn't matter. You got to have a trade-off. You cannot go in relationships without a trade-off. Okay? That's just my opinion of it. That's my perspective of it. Okay? So, what is the point of this video, like I said before? Test people's affections and love out early on, because if they even show the inkling of argumentiveness, assertiveness, and after you told them no, and they still pursue that attitude, then you automatically should cut them down by 50%. Their opinion don't matter. That's right. I'm not, as I said before, it's not being narcissistic. It's that if they have an opinion for themselves, let it be at least a suggestion that they speak. So let's say you have an argument with someone, okay? And you clearly told them the reason why you don't believe this and I don't do this and I don't do that. But they clearly are being combative. That person don't love you like that. It starts early. It doesn't start late. As a matter of fact, it will occur later on because people like to use one another. Everyone uses one another for some sort of advantage or not. Okay? But you're going to have to not have an argument with someone, especially if they're opinionated. You don't want that. That's a person who does not care for you. You can care about other people's thoughts through suggestions. Like, here's another example. Let's say, I was talking with my wife, like, this is a real life thing. I said we had an argument because I wanted my daughters not in school. I want them homeschooled legally, okay? Because I am very protective of my daughters. But my Holy Spirit told me don't fight it, so that's another subject for a day. But the voice told me let her try to do the go bad way, okay? It's I get the blessings when bad things tend to occur. Right? So I have a mysticism side of my side. And I try to explain to her that girls usually end up pregnant between the ages of 13 and 17 years old. Okay? And then I said, just do the research and you'll find out it's true and it's factual. You should be very afraid. You should be very afraid because I told you to do the research and you didn't do the research. But instead, my voices permitted me to say, okay, let her do whatever she has to do. Okay? And I did that. And so, long story short, is that since I know that she doesn't respect my perspective of where our children should be in school, okay, I can't fight it because the Holy Spirit that spoke to me and told me not to do anything. And I'm just waiting to see something if something bad happens, okay? That's a person who really doesn't care about your fucking perspective. Do you understand that? And when that happens, you got to have another plan upon another plan. You got to have a way out. Got to have a way out for that individual. But that's the best way to be if you're a good psychopath. You give them a way out. At least you give them a chance. Like Mr. Raymond Reddington on the blacklist. You got to give them a chance, man. Because you have already you're 10 steps ahead of them already. And that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a more honorable person for being very honest and upfront. But that's all I really wanted to say, guys. If you really want to know if someone loves you, you're going to have to put them through the ringer. You're going to have to put them through the fire. You're going to have to make sure their attitude is adjusted accordingly when they come around you. When you tell people straight up from the beginning, I'm a holy man, I don't play that bullshit with any ... And you have these standards that's really alpha, which most people don't have alpha standards. They just don't, okay? You're going to have to put that person through a ringer. You got to put that person through a test. Love, the type of love people are talking about out there these days is an emotional type of love, a form of attachment, which really doesn't exist because nobody's trained by alpha fathers, right? So when you was raised up, we wasn't trained that love should not be taken like this, and it shouldn't be learned through a mediaized system, okay, or psychological system. You should already know that love is a liability. It's charged. You're charged. Because you fell in love, because you had no discipline over that vessel down between your legs. You know what I'm saying? That vessel down there. And so when you don't have that fucking, your vessel, this is the vessel, that it's a sexual energy, okay? And you have no control over the sexual energy, okay? And that's the problem with most people. They look at things and they get drawn to it. They don't fall for their type or anything. They just go on what other people have told them because they're not trained by alpha fathers like myself. I don't fuck around. When someone threatens my life, I take it in the intelligent way or in the mysticized way, and I handle that shit. And I try to get in touch with them, okay? And so I don't have those problems after that. Once that left brain is working, the logical side of the brain is working, that's it. I don't have those problems. I get it out the way quickly. But to each his own. So the point of this video, again, is to make sure early on, if you even feel it, that person doesn't love you, all right? Let's say, I'll give you another example here. Even with an animal, okay? With an animal, I know there's a cat that I go over to my ex-wife's house, okay? And I will fuck with that cat all the time. There's two modes that I work on with people, okay? Psychologically. Can they play or can they not play? And 9 times out of 10, there are people who are so sensitive. Sensitive people are not good in relationships. They're not. Trust me. Sensitive people are usually unstable and they are high in liability. You learn something new from a guy from your friendly neighborhood Schizologist. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. Because when you talk to sensitive people, they go on their emotions and they could be up and down. They could be bipolar. They don't even know what they got because you didn't check out their background and shit. So the best way to handle sensitive people is not to talk too much. And this is why a lot of sensitive females who haven't been trained, they always fall for the fuck boys. Because fuck boys don't talk. They just want to fuck. Right? You make the dick hard. That's all they can think about. That's what women do, thinking their dick hard. But that's not enough for a man. They know that long-term wise. They're going to be on to the next woman and the next woman. I teach women how to control that fucking sexual energy. But that's why I exist. Check out my credentials. But people like to look. They're very biased bitches. There's a lot of people who are bias busters and fucking simps all over the place. So they look at an image, and that's where they fuck up at. That's where they fuck up at, because they looking at image. But that's good, because I take advantage of that shit all the time. But to help you learn something from this fucking video about sensitive people versus logical people, how to test people's love and faith, certain emotions that you should be able to pick up on a person if they really care. Because you can easily tell what that area is that they don't like you about. So let's say you needed some help and you know a person got $1 million and there's something about you that they don't like, they don't want to help you. Then you automatically should know that person doesn't really give a fuck about you in your life. Okay, all right? If there's an emergency and they can help you, you've got to learn how to test that theory out. That theory needs to be proven without the benefit of the doubt that person doesn't give a fuck about you. I have situations that happened to me and people came through flying colors when something was about to be in danger. I know they got the fucking money to help me. But of course, you got to do the same. If something goes wrong or if it's something emergency, you got to think like that, because you got to sometimes lie for a great evil for a greater good. Religion is a great evil for a greater good, okay? There's a lot of things greater evil, like the vaccines, the stupid 19. Okay, it's a great evil for a greater good. These capitalists, they have to capitalize on that because there's a lot of stupid people in the world. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid people in the world. But I hope you understand my point here. Logical people, emotional people. Two types of people, babies. Yeah, I'm walking around, okay? Because when I walk around, I tend to know how to articulate myself pretty well and very fluent. And there are certain elite people who tend to hit me up and say, hey, I like your videos, and yada, 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 yada. And then I say, okay, pay the Patreon if you want to see more. You can talk to me directly. But of course, y'all have a nice day and a nice night. And of course, YouTube is at it again. I just made a video about the conundrum and illusion of the terminology of the word being poor. And they was looking at me like I'm trying to be a doctor. And I'm like, I'm a comedian, bitches. Why are you fucking giving me a community strike? Because they said it was some medical shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never said I was a medical doctor or anything. But I did say I'm a therapist. Okay, what you need to do, you need to see my records that I'm a therapist, that I do things anecdotally. What are you saying, okay? These YouTube. That's why I got my shit on Rumble. That's why I got my shit on MeWe. That's why I got my shit on Signal. That's why I'm on Getter, okay? You don't put your shit on one platform. That sucks. And you know how it is with YouTube. They could make a whole lot of fucking much more money, but they don't want to listen. They get just many ideas. They get a lot of their money through advertisements, just like Facebook and shit. But other than that, that's all I really want to say. I've been talking for 15 minutes. Now you understand how to know if someone loves you. Okay, no matter which way you go, you gotta do some testing. Gotta do some testing. You can't just go on like, oh, she likes me. I fuck that bitch raw dog. How many times I took niggas, girls, bitches away because of it with a simple phone call? I'm just trying to help you guys out because y'all guys are mostly the victims, not the women. This is not the witch hunts anymore. Women, their heads is not. As a matter of fact, women still do disappear at a certain rate. Lucky for porn, it would have been more, okay? But other than that, okay, come to me if you have any questions, please. And y'all have a good day, okay? And I'm out of here, guys, because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan.